Hey guys, so I don't normally do quick videos like this, but I just feel like I want to say something about this because I'm really in shock that this even happened. So basically, I don't know how else to say this. Basically, Disney totally intentionally disrespected Bobby Driscoll in their terrible new movie. So if you haven't heard, the terrible looking Chip and Dale movie dropped, and I remember when this trailer came out and I thought, wow, this looks really bad. It's like just like this self-referential, like Ready Player One style, like reference movie, like trying to be Roger Rabbit or something, with this awful looking like cell shading over CGI. Just looks so bad, like so bad. And then of course you had the Peter Pan character, and I was like, oh, that's a little insensitive. But I was thinking like, well, that's my knowledge bias, right? Like I know about Bobby Driscoll, and I see this and I'm like, oh, that's a little insensitive. But surely to God, the writers, they weren't really going for that. They were just doing the same tired old, Peter Pan grows up joke.
Hey guys, editing Serena here. So I actually forgot that I didn't really explain who Bobby Driscoll is, if you don't already know. He was the voice and model for Peter Pan, and he was also in a bunch of other Disney movies. He was fired shortly after Peter Pan, Disney says, for having acne. At the end of his story, de- he was alcohol dependent, he was abusing drugs, and he died homeless at the age of 31.
What do you know? This really is a Bobby Driscoll reference. They sort of intentionally evoke this very tragic story as the backstory for their Peter Pan character, who is the villain of the movie. Very, very unflattering, very disrespectful. Some people still kind of saying like, well, it's probably a coincidence. I think when you're referencing something as specific as the whole like being fired for acne thing, I think when you're getting that specific in your reference, you can't really say it's a coincidence anymore. I mean, to me, this comes off as like this same old like meta commentary that Disney's been doing for a while now, where it's like, we're gonna, you know, do this like meta commentary where we acknowledge our mistakes. And that's totally out of line to evoke him for this. I mean, this is somebody who suffered horribly. Like, this is someone who suffered really, really awful, horrible abuse while they were working for Disney, after they were working for Disney. This is somebody who Disney continued to profit off of, not just after he died, but before he died, when he was actually homeless. They were literally re-releasing his films, profiting off of it, profiting off of his image, profiting off of his voice on records, and all kinds of other things. Um, this is somebody who, died died very tragically, and not only that, but I've mentioned this before. When Disney found out that he died, they basically tried to cover it up. They didn't tell anybody. The media found out, I think it was like a year later, or 3 years later, maybe even. It's hard for me to remember at this point exactly how long it went by, but a very long time went by, and the media had to uncover this themselves. Disney was completely silent because they knew it made them look terrible. And so, to kind of evoke this tragedy as this sort of like, oh, isn't this like a dark past that we have? It's like, can you just shut up? They portray him in this as like this washed up, bitter loser. They give him like this sort of Barney Gumble-esque design. They have this thing where it's like, he was fired from Disney and then his life went to hell. It's on the streets, and it's like, I almost wonder if it's not a case of just like lazy writing. Like they just couldn't think of a good Peter Pan backstory, so they stole like the real one, basically. Was this dark humor? Was this like meta commentary, like, ooh, look at this dark thing from our past? Was this sort of trying to be like, well, we know that Disney has done some really bad things, and we're going to acknowledge it in this movie by, completely degrading this character who is literally based on the likeness of Bobby Driscoll, who is literally drawn to look like him. He was the model for this character. It's literally just a drawing of him. Like, go look up any picture of Bobby Driscoll, especially when he was a teenager, like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. Like, he looks exactly like Peter Pan. Like, it's so obvious. And if you're familiar with Peter Pan and you see Bobby Driscoll, you will just see it instantly. Everyone knows Peter Pan. It's lived on. If people know Bobby Driscoll, they know him from Peter Pan. If people don't know Bobby Driscoll and you tell them he was Peter Pan, then they know who he was. So to take, like, his sort of legacy character and really poorly paste this, like, bastardization of his own tragic story onto it, it's just kind of like, I know I'm rambling here, and that's sort of the point of this video, because I'm just, like, stunned that this would even happen. It's, like, just kind of unbelievable that anyone would think this is a good idea. Like, so disrespectful, so unnecessary. What? You think Bobby Driscoll would have wanted this? You think he would have wanted to be degraded in a Disney film? You think he would have wanted for this company to make a boatload of money off his name yet again? Like, yet again, to profit from his image? Like, I think Disney, before Disney even thinks about referencing Bobby Driscoll, they should have, number one, publicly apologized, not just for what happened to him, but for specifically how the way they treated, first of all, for the way they treated him, and second of all, how the way they treated him directly led to this horrible tragedy, for attempting to cover up his death, for making no effort to see that he had any sort of final resting place, funeral, nothing. Like, they have done nothing. They haven't really publicly acknowledged this kid at all. They certainly haven't publicly acknowledged the tragedy. I mean, I think there's maybe a blurb on one of their websites, which is very victim-blamey. They have not, I mean, they haven't even made this kid like a Disney legend, which they've pretty much done for everyone. It's like a very obvious gap. And it's like, oh, I see this very obvious person that you very intentionally left out here. No, memorial, no plaque, public monument, no nothing. Like they've been radio silent on this guy, and then all of a sudden they come up with this. It's like, I mean, I'd say you're spitting on his grave, but he doesn't have one. Like, he actually doesn't even have that. I don't get it, Disney. Like, what do you have planned for your next movie? Like, you gonna make some, like, Howard Ashman AIDS jokes? Like, I don't get it. Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Like, this is, yeah, so that's basically, I just wanted to jump on here and talk about that a little bit. I think we might continue this conversation in the comment section, possibly on Twitter. I've been ranting there as well. Follow me on Twitter or leave a comment and we can maybe continue this. I'm sure there's stuff I forgot to say. I'm sure someone will do a great review on this. And if anyone is planning and wants some info on Bobby Driscoll, hit me up. I've got a lot of books about Bobby Driscoll that I used in my video. If you want to know more about Bobby Driscoll, you should watch either the Lost Boy, the Bobby Driscoll story, or if you want to see, more details about the allegations of abuse he made over the course of his life, you can watch my video. And if you see those abuse allegations, you will probably be even more livid about this if you're not already. So yeah, I'm kind of just floored. So yeah, that's the video.